This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome everybody to today's class. I still don't know what to call it. I'm calling it the Mercury Retrograde Survival Kit, I guess. So the first thing I wanted to do was thank you so much for being here. Because if you weren't here, I'd be teaching to the computer. And heavens knows that's not necessarily always a fun thing to do. So I am so appreciative that you guys hopped on at the last minute. I know there wasn't, hi, Miss L. I know that there wasn't a lot of notice. So good for you for clearing a space in your life and in your day and showing up. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on the planets right now. Hey, Miss Ashley. Welcome. And what's going on the planets right now is kind of crazy. So, who here knows what Mercury retrograde even means? Or actually, let me be more specific. Does anybody not know what Mercury retrograde is? Because I wanted to spend some time covering that if you're not really sure even what it is, then I definitely want to make sure that you know I have my notes here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my lock so I can keep all my notes. All right. Yes, it sure does mess with our plans. One of that's one of the things. Okay, so hey Naomi, welcome, babe. Good to have you. All right, so you don't have to believe in astrology for this to affect you. I'm not sure, if you logged on from my email. Priscilla says, whenever things are odd, she just blames it on Mercury retrograde. You're not far off, babe. Like, that's not far off. So, the planets have a very distinct effect on the Earth. And as members of Earth, Earth is a planet of the cosmos. I'm not an astrologist, so I'm not, you know, I'm certainly not an expert in this. But what I do know, because I see my shamanic evolutionary astrologer every week to see what's happening in the planets, just to get some hints and tips about how to structure, stuff that's going on in my life. What I do know is that Mercury is the planet of logic and reason. It's the planet of structure and systems and communication and travel. Mercury is the planet that governs things working in a logical, systematic way. So when things happen the way that they're supposed to and the way that the system is set up, then we have Mercury to thank for that, because Mercury is the planet that governs that. When Mercury goes into retrograde, which it does 3 times a year, it operates in the exact opposite of what it usually does. So all of the logical systems that are set up and created to support our communication, to support our travel, it's the systems that govern our technology, everything that seems to make sense is literally turned on its head. Mercury, the planet of logic and reason, goes into retrograde. It goes backwards. So everything just kind of flips upside down. So some things that can usually happen when Mercury goes into retrograde is communication is off. So there's a lot more conflict between human beings, so between each other, between spouses, partners, family, friends. There's just a lot of misunderstanding because there's kind of like a glitch in communication, in like the soul of the communication in the planet. And so when that happens, sometimes I've experienced it. Sometimes someone will say a sentence or a couple of sentences, and I'm staring at them and I literally can't understand what it is that they've said. I'm like, I'm not even, it's not even that I don't know the words that have come out of your mouth. It's that I'm not able to comprehend what you're trying to communicate to me. So that would be a sign of Mercury being in retrograde. Technology crashing, or just acting doolally for no particular reason. I've had multiple experiences of this in the last few days. Mercury retrograde actually started about a week ago for me, specifically, because going through a really huge ascension and transformation and things like that. Another way that Mercury can show up is plans are mismatched. So you might be talking to someone, this comes in with communication too, right? Let's meet for coffee on Friday. And in their mind, they think you're saying this Friday and you're saying actually next Friday. But that specific piece of information is not connected. And so the communication is off. And so plans are off, meetings are off. It's usually during Mercury retrograde that you put something into your phone, like on your digital calendar, and you miss your appointment because somehow it ended up in March on like a totally different day, or in March, but like in April or May on a totally different day, and you're like, wait, how did I miss that? I remember specifically putting it into my calendar. You may have even looked, and it looked like you were putting it in the right day, but things just get all crazy because logic and reason is out the door. It's turned on its head. Does that make sense so far? You with me? Oh, your light bulbs have been bursting. I don't think that's so much uh, Mercury in retrograde. I think that's your energy. Somebody with me? Can I get a got it if you're following so far? Hi, Miss Alexa. Hi, babe. Sure. Yeah, right. Okay, awesome. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. So, the reason that this particular Mercury in retrograde is even more exaggerated, is even more fierce than normal, is because this Mercury retrograde is happening in Pisces. What that means, don't worry, I'm not going to expect you to understand or have any idea what that means. What it means, so it came out of Aries. So Mercury retrograde happened in Aries all of last year, which was Aries is a sign of real leadership, right? So it's, hey, Kelly, welcome. So every time things went on its head, our leadership was challenged, just kind of our beingness. Now, Pisces is the planet of massive expansion. It's the planet of limitless creativity. It's the planet of that knows no boundaries. Anybody a Pisces here? Totally. Oh, I love it, babe. So it's must be really challenging for you to set boundaries for yourself because your soul just wants to be wild and free and exploring and creative all the time. That's the beautiful Piscean energy. Oh, yeah. I love it. You're at work. I love it. That's awesome. Nope, perfect. So, that beautiful, expansive, creative energy that doesn't like boundaries. It doesn't even know boundaries. It doesn't recognize boundaries. It just is like, no, I'm fluid, I'm effortless, I'm constantly moving. Oh, it's going to be a really interesting next 7 years for you, Priscilla, as a Taurus. So that beautiful Piscean energy is now conjuncting, which apparently in astrology speak means joining, is joining with this logic that has been tipped on its head. So we've got the planet of logic, which is Mercury. It's going backwards, so it's everything is being flipped on its head anyway. And then it's being super infused with this like gorgeous creative energy of Pisces that knows no boundaries, right? So it's taking the energy of Mercury retrograde and literally expanding it infinitely because it knows no boundaries. Yes, I know. Oh my gosh, Naomi, I totally understand. Expansion is, whoo, it is rough. So good and so rough. So, what that does is it takes the regular Mercury retrograde energy, which is a little bit confused and a little bit irritating and just a lot of misunderstandings, miscommunications, things breaking, and it expands it infinitely. Oh no. Which is not necessarily a terrible thing, but I'll explain how you can get through this next 6 weeks without being crushed under the planet. The planets. Not only that, but Uranus is making a very powerful entry. I think it's sometime this week. I think it might actually have been yesterday. Uranus is the planet of individuation, exploration, self identity, knowing yourself. It's a really deep planet of intuitiveness. It is like self knowledge. It's Uranus is the planet of expansion. Okay, so Uranus just moved into Capricorn. So we have Mercury in retrograde happening in Pisces, and we have Uranus moving into Capricorn. Now, this planet, Uranus, that calls for us to basically know thyself, right? Uranus, that would be the motto that kind of encapsulates Uranus, is calling to us to step up because Capricorn is the planet of leadership. Capricorn is the planet of ownership. It's taking responsibility. It's taking a look at everything that's happening in your life. And if it's not okay, if it's not alignment, it's literally crumbling. It's crushing it. Okay. like like smushing it into smithereens so that all of the misalignments and all of the old programs can move out the way so that this individuation can happen within this leadership role, and we can each step up and start taking ownership and kind of owning our space. With me so far? Crystal says she's definitely feeling that one. Yes. Oh, and you're a Capricorn. Oh, yeah, you are being cold with your feet in the fire, girlfriend. Your feet are being put in the fire right now. So, as we're having these two conjunctions, right? Uranus is in Capricorn and Mercury is in Pisces. They're all coming together to create this beautiful, because the planets don't operate individually from each other. They all are interrelating to each other's energy. And so we're having this non-logical sequence. Like everything that's sequential is being blown to smithereens. Everything that you used to think you know, everything that you stood for or that you thought you stood for, everything that you used to identify with yourself about is being called to the carpet. It's being called into question. And anything that is out of alignment is going to be smushed to smithereens. And it's happening in this beautiful creative way, which doesn't necessarily feel comfortable because yes, but I'm not an astrologer, so I couldn't help you with that. Priscilla said, "Is there a way to apply our astrology science to practical things?" Yeah, absolutely. But I would not be the person to talk to. I'm setting the foundation to give you the practical tools to get through this next 6 weeks. Okay, perfect. Yeah, right. It's so helpful to know what's going on the planet so that we don't feel like we're going crazy. So that we don't feel like, oh my gosh, why is everything suddenly erupting and melting down to the ground and causing me to go through this really painful time? And I can't even post on Facebook about it because my phone won't work, right? Or my computer won't turn on. Oh my goodness. It's nuts. So, the reason why the next 6 weeks in particular are challenging is because all systems are going non operational. And I don't want to say all, right? But I want to say that every single system of logic and reason is being interrupted for the next 6 weeks. Usually, Mercury's only in retrograde for 3 weeks, but it's actually in its own shadow for another 3 weeks. So we can expect to feel the effects of this for 6 weeks. If you don't have this information or these tools, you're going to feel like you're going crazy. You're going to feel like, what the actual heck is going on? What did I do to deserve this? Right? And I don't want anyone going into victim mode because you've all been working so hard to move into the space of empowerment. Yes, to flow with it, not fight with it. That is exactly right. In fact, that is my first note. Your best bet over this next 6 weeks is to surrender. Let's talk about what surrender means. Surrender means stop trying to control what's going on around you. Stop trying to control people. Stop trying to control outcomes. Stop trying to control your electronics. Stop trying to control what's happening around you. And just go with the flow. Okay? The benefit of going with the flow, as opposed to holding fast to everything that you think should be happening, is that you'll have peace. You'll be able to have peace of mind. You'll be able to completely release all of that tension and all of that stress, right? Because when you're holding on to something that you have no control over, but you keep telling yourself that you do have control over that thing, it creates nothing but high levels of stress. And that is not you operating at your best. So surrender, okay? As these things are coming up. Aww. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ashley. As these things are coming up, it's surrendering to the events that are happening. It's knowing that you don't control it and you don't have power over the events. Okay? The only thing you control is you: mind, body, emotions, reactions. Choosing to make them actions rather than reactions, because when you get stressed, you're not going to be able to stay grounded. You're not going to be able to communicate to the people around you with love and compassion. That's when you're more likely to be snappy, right? When you're irritable because nothing is working the way that it should. And so surrendering to the events, whatever they are, right? My phone randomly turned off 3 times today when I was in the middle of using it. I could have gotten really annoyed because sometimes I'm locked into the understanding that time is finite and I have stuff to do. But I laughed instead. Why? Because I know exactly what is happening right now, and I know that I have no control over it. I know the planets are just haywire right now, and so it's just surrendering. Okay. If a meeting doesn't go according to plan, or someone stands you up because they had scheduled the meeting on a different day, surrender to that, right? Holding on to anger, holding on to irritation, holding on to resistance, choosing to be mad at someone for a miscommunication is just putting yourself in pain. I highly encourage you not to do that, even though you are in the full right to do so. Okay, so just kind of tool number 1 is surrender to the things that happen. Okay, surrender to, yes, I knew. Ashley says her text stopped working. Super frustrating. Surrender to the things that are going to happen because, hey, Miss Rochelle, because you have zero control over them. Okay, next, continue to draw firm boundaries. There is a difference between surrendering. Hi. I don't even know how you did that, but it's so cool. There's a difference between surrendering and being a doormat. So at no point in time do you ever want to really relax your boundaries to where people are able to take advantage of you, because you are actually creating that as well, right? When you don't reaffirm, re-engage your boundaries, or when you don't engage your boundaries to begin with, you are responsible for however someone treats you, because we teach people how to treat us. So be very careful that as you're surrendering to events, you're still keeping your boundaries, right? So let's take the example of, let's say your friend schedules the coffee on a different day. Surrendering to that would be not being mad at them, because Mercury retrograde, miscommunication, maybe you didn't confirm the appointment beforehand, or maybe there was, some misunderstanding. So surrendering to the event would be, don't get mad. No, or if you're mad, allow yourself to be mad and then let it go, right? We don't want to disallow emotions. We always want to allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling. But instead of holding on to that anger, draw a boundary. Okay, for yourself. Okay, how am I going to make sure that that doesn't happen again? How am I going to make sure to protect my time next time so that doesn't happen? Okay, I can confirm the appointment the night before in the morning of, maybe, or I can just check in with that person and say, hey, see you at Starbucks at 5:30 or something like that, right? We can draw boundaries. I would say we can ask the person to let us know if they're not going to show up, but in this case, they forgot or didn't even realize that that meeting was that day. So it's difficult to draw boundaries in that manner. But let's keep our boundaries nice and firm even while we're in surrender, because we're the only ones who control our little space. Just this little thing, this body, this mind, these emotions, our time, keeping those boundaries nice and firm. Here's a fun one. Because we are in Pisces with this Mercury retrograde, it's really going to throw all logic and anything all the filters that used to be on you, that used to prevent you from being able to express yourself, that used to, keep you a little bit smaller. All of those filters are kind of broken with this Mercury retrograde. And so now is the time that if your filters are down, now is the time to allow your creativity to blossom. Now is the time to allow your creativity to expand to its maximum, because everything within the planets are created for potent creativity right now, especially for the next 6 weeks. So step number 2 in helping you through this Mercury retrograde survival guide is honor your creativity. Create space for yourself to be creative. Allow yourself to have that space, that time. If you don't draw, color. Or maybe take a drawing class and just really allow yourself to kind of immerse into that. If you are in business for yourself, start thinking outside of the box. What are some creative ideas to really ramp up your marketing? Things that wouldn't even normally come into your awareness, your brain, but because of this expanding potent creativity time, this potent vortex, what's coming in, what's calling to be expressed? Do you love to sing but you don't usually sing? Can you tap into that somehow? Are you a singer but you've never written a song and now you're kind of feeling like you want to? Can you create a space? Can you carve out some time to allow yourself to be creative? Our creativity doesn't have to show up as drawing, painting, singing, or acting, right? It can be anything. It can be making something out of sand, or gluing things together with popsicle sticks, or coloring inside the lines, coloring outside the lines. Creativity shows up in a bunch of different ways. So giving yourself an opportunity and permission to show up within your life as creatively as you want to. Do you want to do a Facebook Live with, googly eyes or a funny hat? Or do you want to do cartwheels, put a GoPro on you and do cartwheels and do a Facebook Live or something? What's coming up for you? Just really allowing that creative flow, permission to be without judgment. That's the key, right? Because a lot of times when creativity wants to flow, we want to judge very harshly. Oh, I'm not creative. I hear that so often. Oh, I'm not creative. Oh, no, no, I don't draw. Me neither. You should see my drawings. They're like little stick figure guys. They're super cute. But I consider myself extremely creative simply because I am. I let myself express my creativity in whatever way it wants to be expressed. I feel more comfortable expressing my creativity inside the lines. So things like coloring, things like line dancing, where there's a certain set of steps, and I know exactly what's expected of me. That's where I feel creative, right? When it comes to class, even, I don't like showing up to a class without any notes. Just improvising does not feel comfortable to me, because I wonder if I'm going to say anything of value at all. So I like to have just a couple of notes just to know exactly what it is that I'm trying to express, right? Even within the steps, I can get as flourishy, as flouncy, as creative as possible. But I like to have lines. I like to color inside of the lines, and I'm completely okay with that. I love to sing covers. I've written some songs too, but I really love to sing covers because I love putting my own spin on it, but I know exactly where my boundaries are. That's comfortable for me. So it doesn't have to be, go out and create a masterpiece from scratch, but something. There was a story of this lady who loved ice skating. That's how she expressed herself creatively. She would just wake up before work and every day she would go ice skating. Beautiful. I think it was in Big Magic. Yeah, love that book, Elizabeth Gilbert. So give yourself permission to be creative. Honor creativity. Oh, no. Step number 1 is surrender to what happens, to the event. Step number 2 is draw firm boundaries. Step number 3 is allow yourself to honor creativity. And then step number 4 is allow yourself to release expectations and frustration. As humans, we have been taught to expect certain things and certain outcomes. That works with us and against us. It works with us, whereby it keeps us safe. We know what to expect. We know to expect that after red comes green with a stoplight. We know to expect that people will most of the time stop at a stop sign. We know to expect that when we punch numbers into a calculator, it gives us an answer, right? So there's not necessarily, it's not always bad to have expectations. It's the attachment to the expectations that creates the disappointment. So, without going into a deep class about how to detach from outcomes, let's talk about specifically within the next coming weeks. This is really coming back to surrendering to the events, okay? You may have a set of expectations about how something's going to go. That's okay. If the thing that you were expecting to happen doesn't happen that way, let it be okay. You can choose to hold on to it. You can choose to be mad about it. You can choose to tell all kinds of different stories about it, good and bad and indifferent. Or you can choose just to let it be. Just let it be what it is. And you might want to just moderate your expectations before you even make them. You might want to look at your expectations and wonder, is this realistic? Is this practical? How would I feel if this didn't go according to how I expect? Do I need to dial back my expectations, or do I just need to remove them entirely so that if anything were to come from this X, Y, and Z, this fill in the blank, that would be amazing. That would give me, that would be a cherry on the cake, right? So step number 4 is allow yourself to release expectations and frustration. Frustration and irritability come from disappointed expectations, right? So let yourself, if you feel those expectations and you feel that disappointment, acknowledge it, notice that it's there, and then give yourself permission to let it go. You might be feeling that right now. Maybe your internet isn't working correctly, or maybe your phone isn't working correctly. And that's okay. Hey, Laura, we just go with the flow. We do what we can, and we try to release the disappointment from unmet expectations as best as possible. Here are some practical tips that you can do that will help you mitigate some of the challenges that are coming up in the next 6 weeks. Double and triple check your plans, whether that's appointments, whether that's sessions with clients or sessions with coaches. Double, triple check your dates and your times. Constantly check your travel arrangements. If you're traveling within the next 6 weeks, be on that. Check it every day if you need to. Just notice, are there changes? What's happening? Is everything the same? This is not paranoia. This is due diligence when it comes to travel plans. Now, that doesn't mean that when you show up at the airport, your flight is still won't be canceled. It just means, okay, I did my due diligence. Then there'll be no questioning on your part if you did everything that you could. Does that make sense? And your meetings, things that you're doing with other people. Be really, really patient with your spouse or partner when it comes to communication. Be very, very clear. Try to communicate in as simple way as possible so that everybody within your midst can understand you. Try to be as clear with your communication as possible and try to understand as clearly as possible what it is that other people are communicating with you. Okay, so that's that. Oh, here's one. Back up all your electronics. Have backups and backups and backups and backups. If you do things with a laptop, make sure that you also have your presentation on a thumb drive. Make sure you have an HDMI cable. Don't just assume, right? It's having batteries, spare batteries to replace things, making sure that you have maybe even a portable charger for your phone. If you're going somewhere and you need your phone, right? It's like having backups for all the electronics because that's one of the things that usually gets messed with in a Mercury retrograde. And this time we're in Pisces, which expands it to the exponential, which expands it to the infinite. Okay, so have all the backups. As you create this, beautiful creative time for yourself, allow yourself to trust what comes up. Allow yourself to notice what's coming up for you. And as it comes up, just trust it. Give yourself permission to receive from yourself, to receive from the universe, and trust that it's got your best interests at heart. This time, during the next 6 weeks, I think I mentioned it in my post, this time either has the potential to crush you or it has the potential to lift you up to the highest. And Chris said that she thinks it would be better if it was a time of potent creativity, and I couldn't agree more. And the only way that you will get crushed by this, now, all of us will be crushed in some way or another because of all the old paradigms and all the closing cycles of the planets. Like, some of us are just going to be crushed, but we will be crushed into even deeper, even harder, even smaller smithereens if we try to hang on to those old beliefs, to those old associations, to those old paradigms, those old outcomes, that old sense of control. We will be obliterated. We will be annihilated. The universe will not stand for us refusing to ascend. So it will crush the life out of us. Or we can be in surrender. We can go with the flow. We can just be. We can observe. We can go, wow, that was really fascinating. My laptop and my phone turned off at the same time. My laptop came up with a white screen and my phone is just off still. So I don't know. That's really fascinating to me. Right? So go in surrender, in creativity. Use your solution finding skills. Okay, so those are all my practical tips for how to get through the next 6 weeks. I want to do some processes, or maybe just, yeah, let's do a process. Okay, everybody just close your eyes. Take some nice deep breaths. Sorry for the rustling. had to fix my wig. Ouchies. Okay, much better. And as you breathe out, I want you to breathe out all tension and stress, worry, doubt, fear, guilt. And the first voice within us we're going to talk to is fear, because as things confront us, as we experience disappointed or unmet expectations, fear will be one of the first things to show up. And whenever things are changing, whenever we are growing, fear always raises its blessed head. And this time, when fear comes up, instead of giving in to it, instead of letting it take over driving of the vehicle and fully surrendering to fear, I challenge you to stay in observation of it. Imagine that you could take fear outside of yourself, just take it out of your chest and put it in front of you. Notice how it shows up. What color is it? What shape is it? How does it sound? What is its voice like? What is its tone like? Ask fear what it wants and listen. Don't try to ignore it. Don't try to shove it down or put it in a closet. You may have noticed that never actually works. Listen to what fear has to say. And then give it some love and comfort. Hug fear and see that it really just is a small, younger version of you. Perhaps your child self who is scared and feels out of control and is worried about what's going to happen to her or to him. Just give fear a hug. Stroke its hair. Tell it that you know it's scary right now, but you've got this. You're the grown-up. You're in charge and in control, and you have no idea what's going to happen. But you do know that whatever happens, you're going to handle it in the best way that you know how. And you just keep repeating, there. I've got you. I've got you. And fear melts into a puddle of love, warmth, acceptance, and trust. Trusting that you know how to find solutions. And I want you to notice where your creativity is housed in your body. Is it in your mind? In the center of your brain? Is it in your heart? Your solar plexus? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your back? Where is creativity housed in your body? And right now, there might be a block, a gate, or a something preventing you from opening up your creativity center to the cosmos, to the universe, to God, whatever your understanding of the universal source is. There's some kind of block stopping you from connecting. So open that up. And allow that free flow. You might need a tool or a bunch of tools. You might need a jackhammer, a laser beam, to burn or bash through that block, that thing that's stopping you. There we go. Now I want you to prop it open. Just allow the universe to flow freely into your creativity center. Bring with it trust, acceptance, love, unconditional wisdom, and healing. It's this beautiful golden light energy filling you up from the tips of your toes all the way to the top of your head. Feeling it charge, refuel your cells. Even feeling it beam out of you through your eyes, your chest, your root, your sacral, through all of your chakra points. Feeling this beautiful love light energy bringing with it creativity, limitless abundance, compassion, oneness. And anything else that you might need, that your team, your divine team, wants to steal you with as appropriate. Locking everything into place at 0, which is even deeper. 1 is a nice deep cleansing breath. 2 is coming back to the body, back to the room. 3 is a wonderful sense of well-being. 4 is an even more alert number. And 5 is eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Who's back? If you're back, say, I'm back. Excellent. Excellent. I'm happy to stay on for another 10 minutes in case any of you have any more specific questions. The angels are here, so they're happy to do 10 minutes of questions. For now, I'm going to set my timer because I always forget or let it go over. Thank you guys for joining me. If you liked this healing and teaching and stuff, today was a little bit disheveled just because I threw this class together today. This is part of my membership program. It's $47. But Mal, if you're there, can you pop the link in the chats, in the chat box? Good. Thank you. Awesome. So you can actually try the program for just $1 for the first month. There are already some powerful healings and trainings in there. There's magnetizing money and your divine money. This one will be in there. We have another training coming up next week. So yeah, if you would like to join our vortex and get some more healing, then you're very welcome to. Aw, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, definitely hang on the line. Perfect. This is not transcendence. This is your best life now. So is this Nance like my Nance? Because if it is, then you're already part of this program, my love. If it's not, it's your best life now. What's next for your business? I'm in transition to something else. Oh, hey. Yeah, you're in it, babe. So your team is saying you're on the right track. What's coming next is undefined because you have not defined it. So it actually can be whatever you want it to be. There is no specific set destiny for it other than the one that you created. They're not giving me access to that. Really, this is going to be a process of calm as you allow it to unfold in just the way that feels intuitively right for you. That is all the information that they are willing to give at this time. Hopefully that helps, babe. Sorry about that. Sorry, Charlie. Is a new job on the horizon for you? Yes. You have to go get it. Where is it? It's online somewhere. I'm seeing that you've looked at a couple of different websites for jobs, but there's a particular website that you haven't looked at. Is it recruiters? Is it like temp agency? There's like a temp agency website that has a job for you. It's waiting for you. It's your job that you're supposed to do. But it's only in the interim, Miss Rose, because you're not supposed to be doing that. You know what you're supposed to be doing. That's why they're creating a couple of challenges for you right now with work, because they actually want you to really focus on your mission and purpose, not just get sucked back into the golden handcuffs of having comfort and stability within a job. You're doing a little bit of avoidance right now, and they're encouraging you not to. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's me, Nancy. Where should you put your concentration on at this moment? Building your business. Okay, they're showing me some kind of part-time work, babe. I'm not sure. It looks like it's in your industry, something to do with engineering. I don't know. They're showing me a part-time position for you that's going to provide some financial relief so that you can build your business without stress. That's what they're showing me. Who is the person who will get you through? You are the person that will get you through. They're coming through really clearly to say that you have everything that you need. This illusion that you need to have a guide at every moment is false. You have access to all of the same information that all of your guides do, and you are the person that is going to catch you. You did! Yay! Congratulations! Congratulations! I'm so excited for you, Crystal. That's so awesome. And yes, 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 yes. I was cheering because they were cheering. They're super proud of you for, doing the hard work and having some courage and just going for it. Um, this was the best next step for you. It's gonna. Rose, tell me more. As a temp to begin with, but it's actually temporary to full-time work. So it's going to be I'm seeing like a 6-week or a 3-month position that's available, but they're going to be interested in hiring you. There's resistance to you accepting full-time work, but it's necessary for you. But they really don't want you to get locked into that position. They really want you to focus on your purpose, Miss Rose. Next 6 weeks of potent, vital creation of your business. Confirm with your team. Yes, you are right. You're about to go through a really awesome burst of creativity. You're going to really flourish and you're going to finally get some clarity on how to show up in your business that feels in alignment with you. Okay, what's coming through is you're trying really hard to be someone else. You're trying to mimic, not because you're trying to be a copycat, but because you think that's what you're supposed to be doing. Oh, you've been having this realization recently. Okay. Yeah, no, you're supposed to find your own authentic voice, and any tools or suggestions or advice are given to you to enhance your authentic voice, not replace it. So, this next few weeks is going to be a time for you to really dig into what it is that you're here for, how to show up in the world, and what you are supposed to be doing with yourself. Oh, well, it's not me. It's these guys. They are never wrong. Sometimes we don't fully understand what their messages mean, but they're never wrong. Ooh, if you wanted to license. No, that is a distraction technique. Babe, okay, so here's what's coming through really, really focused. Listen. You're meant for something so huge, and there's a lot of disorganized negative energy around you that keeps trying to distract you and pull you off your path. It's showing up in the guise of opportunities. Stay fast to your purpose. Stay zeroed in to your mission. Keep aligning with your soul's purpose, and that's going to keep you moving in the right direction. You're doing all the right things. But focus is going to be key, not getting distracted. The licensing is just going to take you on a wild goose chase. It might even take years and nothing will come of it. Not nothing, but what will come of it will not outweigh the benefit of just staying the course and sticking with your purpose right now. Claro? Yeah, sure, babe. You're welcome. Judith, is the best job coming soon for you? Yes. Where is it coming from? A bank? That's weird. Um, they're saying to scout some financial websites, like financial job posting websites. There's something on there that would be a great interim position for you. You wouldn't have to change industries. You could still work in your particular line of work, but it's coming from as banking and like not industrial, but like money, finance. There's like a lot of images with actually people in a bank that is coming up. I'm wondering if some banks are like a bank is looking for an accountant. I'm not sure. That's what you do, right? Or are you a bookkeeper, babe? Good. Ooh, that's a good one. Have you already conceived the next level for your business? Yes. Is my support team already in place? Some of them. There's one person in your that you're thinking to have for your team who's going to unravel. This doesn't seem to actually, they're not out to get you, but their lack of stability on an emotional, like in an emotional way, is going to cause them to withdraw from you. I can't tell if like where they're in, like where they are in environment to you, but they're going to be really distracting. So their advice is, oh, get ready. Okay, so this is part of what's supposed to happen because they're already in place. So just, yeah, be prepared emotionally. That's exciting. I want to know about that. I want to know about that. I know, babe. Priscilla says the voices get to her sometimes. Should you move? Yes. Where? Trying not to get involved in this. I want to say Santa Clarita. Where should Elle move to? Okay, they want you here too. Why here? Because this is where Divine Feminine is going to rise. Am I making that up? No. Oh, hmm. Talk to me. I have another message for you, but I don't want to talk about it live here. Yay! Okay, I think we're done. Oh, oops, I didn't even set my timer. You're just telling me, okay, loves. Santa Barbara. Yay, I love Santa Barbara. That's awesome. It's gorgeous. Is that where you are, Naomi? Santa Barbara? All right, darlings. Oh, Marietta. Yeah, it's gorgeous down there. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so grateful to you. Have an amazing day. And, aw, so much love to you guys. Miss Rochelle, tell me. I want to know. Message me. Tell me what's happening, what shifts there are. Bye, Chris. Thanks for being here. Aw, thanks, Crystal. Good to chat with you. I'm so happy that you found something that's going to work for you. That's music to my ears. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys. I'll catch you soon. Bye.